things they don't tell you about job security or your W-2 job versus contracts. So you generally think that a job is more secure than a 1099 job, and that's utterly false. I always thought that having contracts was less secure than having a job. And, during COVID, I lost my 1099 contract, but that was uh, basically my own fault. I had just stopped a couple of contracts to go down to one long term contract, and I chose to only do one contract at any given time that was a 2 week on, 2 week off kind of contract, and I was bringing in enough, more than enough to enjoy life at home the other part of the time. So I was fine with that, and life was good. And then during COVID, that contract dried up because all cases were canceled in the state that I was working in. All elective cases went away, and the W-2 people took on all of the emergent cases, and therefore the 1099 went away. So, uh, the only thing that I would say as a 1099 provider, especially if you're going to take a 1099 role that is a more permanent type of position, if there are a combination of 1099 and W-2, is to diversify those and have more than one contract. So, as a contract provider, you have the opportunity to set up your schedule such that you can take on more than one type of role. You can add in different places that you are credentialed to work, even in a per diem or by the day or um, temporary, uh, so many weeks a year type of situation. Uh, Even in vacation coverage or from time to time type of coverage, to where you have multiple contracts at different facilities to cover for temporary coverage at, you know, two, three, four different facilities and fill up your calendar in order to diversify your contract coverage just in case one of those facilities cancels the contract inadvertently or decreases their amount of coverage, then you still have multiple other uh, clients basically, and you are able to then uh, pick up an additional set of weeks or set of coverage, even if no other place is credentialing. So by having multiple clients, you then have diversified your ability to work, and you're not dependent on one place or one job maintaining your financial livelihood. And that's also why, we do personally all the investing that we do to bring in other income. And that's why we have our other podcast that we're starting, which is the Flex Life Fi podcast. And that's us talking about the goal of financial independence through developing the flexibility to have multiple streams of income from passive to semi passive types of income in our daily lives and in our retirement types of income so that you can be quote unquote work optional. So making sure that you are living below your means and having that flexibility to work when you want to as opposed to work when you have to. Uh, that became very, very important and uh, specific to me during the whole COVID time frame. So, uh, having multiple types of contracts as opposed to one job is one thing that I would consider if I was doing 1099, and I still am. So that's what I do. I have more than one facility that is always asking for additional weeks and days of any nature to be able to add extra time. And I know several other providers that do the same thing. And it's a way of ensuring that there will not be a time that you can't find work. So if you're ever worried about not being able to find work, that is one way to set yourself up for success.